Hey man, what's poppin'? It's your dog. It's the greatest anime YouTuber ever. You feel me? Just you might not agree, but you will if you watch me. If this is your first time ever seeing any of my videos, which is probably pretty likely, thank you for taking the time out to watch it. Please watch the whole video. Give me some feedback. If you like it, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike the video. If you feel neutral, get an opinion. But again, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter so we can talk and interact. I really want to grow a community of people who just kind of like similar things, you know what I mean? But let's get straight to the point. As you can see in the title, we're going to be talking about what if Gong was in My Hero. And we're going to be breaking these up into parts. I'm not sure how many parts at this point in time. And it's probably going to be an evolving story as the anime progresses. Because I don't want to go past the anime even though I am caught up with the manga. You anime watchers need to hop on this manga. I know the anime is better. But watch the manga. Read the manga. You feel me? Not watch. You can watch it too. The manga is probably on YouTube somewhere, every chapter, but whatever. That's besides the point. Today we're going to be talking about what if Gong was in My Hero, and we're going to hop in at the very beginning. Disclaimer, if you haven't watched Hunter x Hunter, you might not fully grasp why Gong is doing what he's doing or where he's coming from or anything of that nature. So I do recommend watching both series before hopping into it, and I do want to do some what if somebody else was in whatever else series along the line, maybe besides these series as well. We'll figure it out. It depends on how you guys feel. So the beginning, if Gong was in My Hero, I think he still starts off on the island. I mean, that's where Gong is from, and he still has to capture his big fish in order to the god fish or whatever in order to get off of the island. But a big difference is where originally Gong's dad is a hunter and Gong wants to be a hunter to find his dad. Gong's dad in this universe is just kind of gone. We don't really know where he is, but he will leave a letter to Gong basically saying, hey, in this world of heroes, I know you probably look up to them, and if you ever wanted to be a hero, here's a letter. This will get you into the entrance exam of any school of your choice, but you still have to pass it. So Gong ends up going to the entrance exam, and this is the first time Gong really is interacting with the hero society at all. And in the entrance exam of My Hero, of course, they're fighting villains, and they're getting points for the villains that they beat and the people that they rescue. And Gong is just there having fun. Gong, he's enjoying the situation. He enjoys everything that is happening within the exam. But the thing that stands out to Gong is when he sees Deku actually try to save Otako from a robot, and he releases some of One for All. He throws up the robot, and then he proceeds to fall down. Otako saves him, but Gong is just intrigued. He's just very interested. Someone who doesn't look super impressive did a very impressive feat, right? And so after that happened, Gong runs up to Deku, just kind of talking about how cool that Deku looked in that moment, and that he thought that was awesome. It's not a big interaction or anything like that, but then Gong just kind of leaves and proceeds to pass in the exam. I think Gong in the ranking of the entrance exam ends up being somewhere around 6th place in the overall scale. And after the entrance exam, he's put into class 1A, and this is where he sees Deku for the second time. For this scenario, I think Gong is going to take the place of Invisible Girl. Out of everyone within the story, her and the dude who can talk to animals, those were the two people I wanted to replace. Even though there's technically an open seat in Class 1A, I wanted to put Gong in it so I can easily formulate him into the story. And I think that Invisible Girl actually has some key moments in this show that she doesn't do anything for. Like, she has very specific situations that I think if Gong was there would be way more impactful than with her being there. And so she's going to take her place in the beginning of the story, and it might change over time. But for now, that's where he is. bam, hop back into it. So at this point, Gong meets Deku again for the second time, and they're both kind of in shock about what's happening. Not knowing each other's name or anything like that, they formally introduce each other, and they just kind of start hitting it off. Deku's just happy to see, another friendly face. Eraserhead then comes in and starts to talk about the quirk assessment test that they have to do. So their little physical challenge, and Gong is excited to do it, where Deku is kind of more pessimistic about it because he doesn't have control over One for All. And while Deku does horrible in basically all of them, Gong does really well. He's not the best of any of them because, again, Gong isn't using any powers. He's not using their quirk. So those who can use their quirk still outmatch Gong in that situation. But Gong is doing super well. No one notices him doing anything that seems to be quirk-like, so they think maybe he has some form of, superhuman strength. Maybe similar to All Might, but on a lower scale. And Deku is also observant of this, and he's very curious about it. But it really catches the eye of Eraserhead and All Might, who are watching as everything proceeds. This is where I think Gong's impact to the story first really makes it dent. Because after the test is over, the exam is done, everyone is impressed. Because at this point it's known, oh yes, Deku does have a quirk, he just can't control it. This is the assumption that everyone is taking. Bakugo, on the other hand, is just frustrated because of two factors now. The first factor being, and still the most important, that he thinks that Deku has been lying to him the entire time about not having a quirk. Remember, they grew up together, and that's actually a big factor in the beginning of My Hero with his disdain for Deku, is that he felt deceived. But the other is that everyone really seems to be paying attention to Gong, and they're asking Gong what his quirk is because they're not sure. And Gong being Gong, he laughs, he smiles, and he's just kind of like, I don't think I have a quirk. He just says that he did lots of playing and exercise on his island, and he just kind of picked up these abilities. Eraserhead isn't quite sure about that, and he actually uses his quirk on Gong and has him do the 50-yard dash and the ball toss again, just to kind of see where it ranges. This is a key point in the story to kind of take a place on, and that is that when he does the test over again, he does really well, but he does do worse for the test. But this is written off for most people in the class, and even Eraserhead thinking that maybe he's just tired because, again, he did just complete the test. The next thing they end up doing is the battle trial. So when it's the two teams versus each other, and the Deku or Chaco and then Bakugo's team, it ends up the same. Deku and them end up winning, but this is really inspiring to Gong. Gong is super excited about the matchup that he has, and he's just going into it full of hope and full of determination. And unfortunately, he ends up paired against Shoto. And if you have watched any of My Hero, Shoto is an extremely overpowered character. But especially in the beginning of My Hero, is he more so than any. Bakugo even admits that he doesn't think he can beat Shoto in a one-on-one matchup. But back to the story with Gong. Gong has his matchup versus Shoto and gets obliterated. Gong is very frustrated with the difference in power between him and Shoto. And it's made worse because Shoto ends up actually taunting them, talking about how he's on a different level. After the match, Gong is very frustrated. Not only with the fact that he didn't do well, with the fact that he was taunted by him. And Gong is a pretty, carefree character, but he's more frustrating with himself, and he ends up punching the wall, and the wall crumbles. But on top of that, he's paired up with Ojiro. And I'll put a picture to do that because I'm bad with names. But he's paired up with him, and so he's still the closest person near Gong. And for a second, he can feel a very deadly, menacing aura emanating from Gong as he crushes the building. But it's so quick that he doesn't really stay focused on it and think it's just his imagination, and people think that the wall fell based off of the damage from the first two matchups. It just crumbled from, you know, all the pressure that Shoto and, you know, Bakugo have did previously, had did previously before he punched it. But obviously, you probably know where I'm going. These are some semblance of maybe a quirk that Gong has, that people just haven't noticed yet. And this is where we're going to end the first part of What If Gong was in My Hero. So again, I would really like to know what you guys think about it. I'm enjoying writing this story out, and actually it's really hard to write this out and to kind of keep it in a shorter time span. I really like my stuff being in between like 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm right there right now, but I think I can even shorten it even more. But I really want to know, you know, what you guys think, get some feedback from you guys about how this story is going. And if you want to add something, if you think it will be different or anything of that nature, please let me know what you think. Maybe you have better ideas about the situation than I do, you know. And so follow me on Twitter so we can chat about it there. Comment down below. And again, let me know what you think about the video. That's my biggest thing. Let me know what you think. So yeah, man, I love you guys. Make sure you hit some button on here, and I will see you next time. Peace.